Mr. President, water management is an essential component of all climate talks today. Likewise, all issues related to water resources overlap and are closely connected with the issues of climate change mitigation. These trends have grown significantly stronger with the rapid institutionalization of this agenda starting in 2023. I would like to briefly explain the situation. Everything begins with adding these issues to the international agenda under a plausible pretext. At the same time, we see that the collective West ultimately uses these issues to replenish other countries' national budgets. The direct rules introduced as a result damage global trade with lopsided measures under the pretext of environmental protection. We can see this happen during negotiations. When we analyze all the negotiation tracks in detail and scrutinize all the phrases that conceal elements not immediately evident. For example, the current preparations for the next event are crammed with wordings that seem, at first glance, to perfectly fit the environmental track. But when you look deeper, you see where it will lead to. Yes, we see that these measures often lead to restrictions on state sovereignty, especially in the case of developing countries. And, speaking about water resources, especially the countries that have broad access to fishery stocks and other resources, including underground resources. The current pressing issues have to do with shelf, cross-border regulation of internal waterways and interstate rivers that act as natural borders between states. The process of institutionalization is ongoing in this sphere as well. At the same time, we are aware of the dire need for implementing certain elements in Russia, so that we will not have to adjust to the methods and mechanisms created in Western countries, as we had to do with the climate agenda.
Yes, when our interests were not taken into account.
Exactly. For example, OECD ministers met in Madrid to discuss global water justice. However, non-OECD countries were not invited to that event. In other words, the developments that concern water resources must not be left unattended. I believe that our methods, which we